It's been a few months since we looked into Vechain. First thing that popped up on the radar was the fact that it could be an ISO token now. And this is based on evidence from a patent that was approved late last year that allows Vechain to get into the world of cross-border payments. Now, we're going to dissect that because there's actually an event on Vechain's 2024 roadmap that lines up quite nicely with this theory. And I also want this episode to serve as an update for Vechain going into 2024. There is a lot of new people that are going to come into the space that don't know about the OG projects with utility and proven applications ready to hit the market. We got a lot of details to cover, so let's jump right into these key points. So Vechain is a layer 1 blockchain. That means it's its own network, similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, they run a 2-token system, which means that Vechain, the VET token that we're familiar with, is used for value transfer, while VThor is the gas fee or energy token, as they call it on the network. So this means that when a company or a developer goes to build an application on Vechain, the VET token is their admittance to the network, and any of the functions and operations they'll be pulling from their VThor that will be coming along with Vechain. That's another thing that makes Vechain stand out. If you hold Vechain in certain wallets, you automatically you get VThor rewards, because holding that Vechain, again, gives you access to the network, so you're contributing to the processing. Now, when it comes to the problem that Vechain is solving, I like to call it a protocol level problem, because with blockchains, they have a consensus mechanism. The two most popular are proof of work and proof of stake. Proof of stake used by Ethereum now, Bitcoin being the biggest proof of work coin. However, from an enterprise level, these consensus mechanisms have advantages and disadvantages. With proof of work, it brings up the mining conversation, how much energy is being used, all of that. And then with proof of stake, you have to deal with security and scalability issues depending on how everything is set up. Vechain decided to create their own consensus mechanism. They call it proof of authority, and it actually just updated to 2.0 sometime last year. And basically, it's a reputation-based system. And what that means is that a company, for example, Walmart China, they've had a very long-term relationship with Vechain. And how that works is, in order to get a node on the Vechain network, yes, you have to get Vechain, and that gives you admittance to the network. But if you want to run a node, there are certain criteria that you must hit in order to get the node. And then there are certain criteria that must be hit in order for continuing node operation. That's the proof of authority system. And where it has an advantage over a proof of work is obviously there's no mining involved, and these companies can use their existing infrastructure to run nodes on the Vechain network. And when it comes to proof of stake, it definitely has the speed and scalability over it, because again, it all boils down to those individual node criteria. As long as they're met, there's no congestion with the transactions. So again, that leads to the speed. Now, the technology for Vechain is a lot similar to Ethereum in the sense that you can build applications, decentralized applications, just like ETH. And because of that proof of authority consensus, you have much higher speeds and more scalability. So when it comes to use cases, Vechain has evolved over the years. They were, of course, known in the beginning for supply chain data management. They got a lot of relationships with, like we just mentioned, Walmart China, as well as food and beverage processors. But since then, they've expanded into electric vehicles, NFTs. They now have a Web3 as a service platform called Forge, which is focused at Web3 applications for companies. And they have a number of patents on the subject of patents for RFID technology. And this is something that they actually hit the market with, NFC technology for the tracing of goods. One of the biggest applications involved a winery, right? And they were tracking the validity of where the wine bottles came from using Vechain technology. So that's all very interesting. And Sunny Liu is the founder of Vechain. He used to work at Louis Vuitton. He started Bitso, which was his first DLT and blockchain related experience. And it was shortly after that he got the gumption to create Vechain. And Since then, they have formed quite the ecosystem. All right. Here's a list of immediate partners for the Vechain network. And we also have to consider the Vechain Foundation. The Vechain Foundation has operations in both Singapore and San Marino. San Marino, that's going to be very key. But I also want to highlight 3 companies on this list here. PricewaterhouseCoopers, that's PwC, DNV, and BCG, which is the Boston Consultant Group. These companies, they're long-term deals and they're research driven. What that means is that these companies are strictly working with Vechain to research how many ways blockchain and DLT can be incorporated into traditional life. That's really the simplest way that I can do it, put it to you. And also, they do run nodes. So these are the companies that are driving the growth of the Vechain ecosystem. Now, there's another relationship that's not listed here, and it's because I've only seen one piece of evidence about this. All right. And it's actually going to tie into the ISO narrative that we're going to touch on in just a second. I got a little bit more for you. But when it comes to token distribution, this is how it broke down in the beginning. 5% went to the team, 41% into the crowd sale, 9% to enterprise investors, 13% burned, and 9% into the private investment fund, 22% for operations and development. So in the beginning, the Vechain Foundation, when Vechain was on Ethereum, it was called VEN. There was 100 billion of those tokens. A few got burned. That's at 13%. That left us with 86.7 billion as a max supply. Right now, about 72.7 billion are in circulation. And as I look at the market cap place for Vechain at 42, I have a theory about why chains have all of these tokens. All right. And this applies to all assets. And I think it's really based on network usage. They are anticipating a lot of people coming onto the network, and based on the scalability of the applications, it makes a lot more sense. Again, more information needs to really be discovered on that note, but that's just a theory that I have. Now, let's talk competition for Vechain, with it being a layer 1, obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, but when it comes to its use cases specifically, a lot of people compared it to the Morpheus network. Now, recently, Morpheus network has been more so focused solely on trade finance, which is good. All right. It gives them a direction. Vechain is incorporating a lot of emerging technologies and adding that to their services to address supply chain, IoT, tracing of goods, all of those things. That actually puts it on the same tier as Origin Trail. So Origin Trail, they are running artificial intelligence through the supply chain and so forth and so on. Definitely got an episode coming out about that. And then based on the enterprise relationships that Vechain has, they're on the same tier as Hedera, honestly. So, and the technology is just as quick. Hedera has its own version consensus mechanism that allows it to be a lot more faster than the typical networks. So, very interesting setup for Vechain in 2024. Now, if you look at a yearly chart, we're up 85% over the year, guys. And I just want to tell you this before we dive into this ISO rumor. Vechain was the asset that kept me in crypto. All right, 2021, I got into Vechain at 2 cents. Did not leave Vechain until 25 cents. And that was the most I had ever made in crypto up until that point. I got in at the end of 2019. First 3 months, you don't do nothing. You don't have nothing. You don't know nothing. Then get through 2020, we get the crash. I got my first experience of a bear market, a bear cycle. Then we go into 2021. I'm making moves. I'm making plays. I'm learning more. And I just pulled the trigger on Vechain. And I'm so glad I did, man. All right. Because it brought us to where we are now. So let me go back here. And we're going to dive into this roadmap. And don't forget to smash that like if you're finding value so far. So Vechain published an update to their white paper in March of last year. It emphasized their focus on Web3. They want to be a sustainability first company. They want to incorporate their blockchain into certain sustainability goals for 2030. There's those goals again. And they want to offer Vechain as a blockchain as a service or software as a service. So that means that basically they're going to open source the technology and allow enterprises to take it and build what they want to on top of it. Now, when it comes to goals for 2024, they have plans to get into file storage, and they also look to get into ZK rollups, which is a privacy upgrade. And if they want to get involved with large-scale financial transactions, those ZK rollups are going to be necessary. Now, you'll also notice that there is an algorithmic-backed stablecoin listed here on their roadmap. Now, this blows open the ISO narrative, so get ready. Here we go. Now, I looked into this whole ISO situation, guys, and yes, the patent exists. I had to go through several USPTO systems in order to find it, but I was able to find it. And it does detail a application that allows for financial institutions to incorporate the Vechain network applications in their existing IT systems. And it's very key that wording there is IT systems. We're dealing with information technology at its basis level. That's what it is. And that's how traditional companies are classifying it when they go to make these relationships. So the patent allows for financial institutions to come onto the Vechain network. How this relates to ISO? Well, we already know that the majority of the world is currently updating their financial systems to meet these messaging standards. And again, I want to clarify something. ISO 20022 is simply an upgrade to the current banking messaging system that we have had for about 60 years now. So what that means is that the way that your bank is able to communicate with your friend's bank is because they can read the same ISO messaging. Now that messaging, it has been upgraded, tailored to be faster. It allows for, instead of T2 settlement or 2-day settlement, it allows for same-day settlement. And it also is a lot more flexible in the sense that it can process currency transactions that are not based in the traditional USD, Euro, GBP, the yen, so forth and so on. That opens the door for transactions that exist on blockchain networks. So when I was covering the ISO narrative, I really tried to stress the importance of that. It won't just be the top 5, the XRP, XDC, Stellar, HBAR, and Quant. No, Crypto.com has an ISO certification. Vechain already had one for the NFC technology that they entered the market with. These ISO standards, guys, I did the whole video about it. They cover a wide range of industries. So if they're getting into financial services, and right now the entire paradigm is the shift from the old ISO system to the new one, then yeah, at some point we could wake up one day and see a headline stating that Vechain is ISO compatible. Now, here's another question. What would they use? Well, back in 2022, Vechain unveiled the VUSD stablecoin. Now, I tried to make as much noise about this stablecoin as I could to people when it came out, but we were in the depths of a bear market. Nobody was paying attention. But they launched this stablecoin product with Stably, which is a company that allows other companies to create stablecoins. So you're looking at a stablecoin as a service company, right? They serve US, Europe, and United Kingdom markets, I believe. And they initially had a U.S. custodian for this stablecoin called Prime Trust, but at the end of last year, Prime Trust can't file for bankruptcy. So I'm not sure how that's going to work going forward. However, you can find transactions and statistics on this stablecoin still. It's all within the network now because they don't have a custodian at the moment. To my knowledge, everything has gone within the network, which is good to see. When you want to get involved with payments, the stablecoin is being looked at as the next transition from the dollar. It really is. And when you zoom out and look at Vechain's entire network, right, there's a lot of places where you can input a stablecoin to make transactions even quicker, right? And if they want to get into IoT, supply chain technology, then that allows them to get into trade financing and the machine-to-machine economy, because now these IoT devices have a currency that they can use between each other. This is all potential here. And that's why I said this is still at the rumor stage. Nothing has been fully confirmed, but the patent for the financial transactions really opens the door for a landscape where Vechain is running ISO transactions. And again, that's simply what it is. But being able to run those modern messages is what's going to give it an advantage over a company or a network that can't. So I hope that really solved the situation for you. It was very interesting when I got to digging into it. Like I said, guys, Vechain was the token that kept me here. It's the reason why I'm sitting there right now. So when people ask you, can you still make money? Yeah. Does it need to be Bitcoin? No. Does it need to be Ethereum? No. Does it need to be Solana? No. There are so many assets on this market, in this market, with utility that have been around for years, and they are ready. I'm going to leave you with this. Bitcoin is only 16 years old. So can you imagine how young the rest of these assets are? We got a long way to go. With that, that's the update for you. Let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. As always, you know what I want you to do. Have a great day. Have a prosperous day. If you're looking to grab you some crypto, check out Uphold. Links in the description. And always remember, if the money is digital, so is the hustle.